I'm going to talk about our tool for automating recommender systems experiments using Librec. Our tool is called Librec-auto. It's a Python wrapper around Librec, which is a Java library that includes many recommender system algorithms. Our tool is not particularly visually exciting, but what's exciting about it is that it allows you to run many experiments at once and do larger scale testing of recommender systems. The other exciting features in Librec-auto are having multiple fairness-aware re-rankers and fairness metrics, and the power that comes with easily running these algorithms and comparing their results. You can easily install this tool via pipe, but before you install it, you should have Java version 1.8 or higher on your computer and Anaconda with Python version 3.6 and higher. Now we can use the pipe command to install this library. Well, as you can see, I have it already installed. After installing this library, you can clone a package from our GitHub page that we have provided for you. This package includes the necessary files like the dataset and example configuration files. So I'm going to download the examples. So now we can navigate to the main directory. As you can see here, we have created different folders in here. Each folder includes a different experiment setup, different data set, different algorithm, a different re-ranker, and metrics. So as an example, we're going to run experiment 5. Experiment 5 in here. So you can see that we have two folders in here, the configuration folder and the dataset folder. Here we're using the movie lens dataset. In this data, the movies are divided into old movies that are from 1990s and before and new movies. The protected group here are the new movies. So now to configure the experiment, you can use the XML file, which is in the config folder. So you can open it with the editor of choice. As you can see, the experiment has different sections and each section has its own different tag. So here you can set how many threads you want to allocate to these experiments. You can give the data path to it. Here in the splitter section, you can say how much data you want it to go to training and what method it should use to split the data. So now, in order to run the re-ranker, we need to know which sections we need to set up in here. A very common approach to enhancing the fairness properties of a recommender system is to add a re-ranking step in which a fairness criterion is applied to recommendation lists produced by some initial algorithm. So here we need to choose an initial recommendation algorithm and a re-ranker algorithm of choice. And finally, we need to set the fairness metrics and the performance metrics. So in this section, we chose the BiasMF as our initial recommendation algorithm. So we have set the parameters in here. So here we have two different values for the number of factors. So it means that we have two different experiments here, one with 10 as the number of factors and one with 20. So as the metric, we have chosen these provider-side fairness metrics called a statistical parity, discounted proportional fairness, and we have also included two performance metrics, precision and recall. As our re-ranker, we chose the fair re-ranking algorithm with lambda set to 0.4 this lambda controls the balance between the diversity and accuracy, and also its other parameters. So we also do some post-processing. We visualize the results. So we have to uncomment this section. So after we're set, we're going to run this experiment. So in order to run the experiment, we go back to the home directory. Then we run the experiment using the following command. So it's gonna take that configuration file and set up a series of experiments. It takes a little bit of time though, because we're running two different experiments with five-fold cross-validation. So now that you can see that the recommendation algorithm is done. It shows you the results for the statistical parity, precision, recall, and now we're waiting for the re-rankers to complete their job. Algorithm took a little bit of time, so I'm cutting this video to show you the final results. After the re-ranker is done re-ranking all the results for all the folds, a pop-up window will show you the results of all the fairness metrics or performance metrics that you have set up in your experiment. So here we see the results of a statistical parity for both of our experiments. And here we see the discounted proportional fairness and the precision of the experiments and the recall. Whole 5 folder, we can see two new folders, experiment 0 and experiment 1. In each folder, we have the results of all the algorithms, the original result and the re-ranker result. So we can also see the graphs that we have plotted in the post-processing folder. One interesting feature of Librec is that the post-processing and evaluation parts are different modules. So we can run them separately. If you need to run the evaluation part separately without having to run the whole algorithm all over again, we can use this command. If you're using if you want to run the post-processing, you run the post command. As you can see, it produces all the plots again. If you need to evaluate it with new evaluation metrics, you can use this command. As you can see, it evaluates all the results for you again.